Zoom in, man. Zoom in. Zoom. Because books are great gifts, and then buying it without having to spend any of their own money. Fancy people love a special edition. Like, they are on it. It's stunning. You'll understand as soon as you see that why people want to collect these. Hello and welcome back to another video, and it is Christmas! The 1st of December, it is day one of Bookmas on my channel, and I'm going to be posting every single other day. Not every single day. Every single other day for the rest of the month until Christmas with a bookish video for you. Some of them are Christmas themed, some of them are like to help with Christmas. Like today we have my Christmas book buying gift guide. So basically I've split this into quite a few sections this video. We're gonna have memorabilia kind of things that you can get for people who love books. Books that you can get kind of for anyone, whether or not they are bookish people. Books you can get if you just need a little bit guide, like you know someone loves reading but you just don't know what that means that you need to get them. Maybe you know a few of their favorite books, you know their taste, but you're just not sure what actually that means in the fact that you need to buy them a book or you want to buy them a book. Because books are great gifts. Like, they're just the best thing to receive. I think personally, obviously, that would be the case for someone who loves books and has an entire YouTube channel dedicated to books. But they're just a great gift to give anyone ever, for anything. And I will prove that with this video. So whether or not you're looking at this video to buy someone who loves books, or just want to buy a book for someone but you're not really sure what to do, or you're not really sure what gift to get anybody, watch this video. It will help you a lot, I promise. Zoom in, man. Zoom in. Zoom. So the first kind of section I have is kind of memorabilia, or like little gifty knicky-knack things that you might want to get someone who has, say, an obsession with something or loves a certain trilogy or a certain series or a certain author, or even just one particular book you know that they love. This is the kind of thing that you can then get them that they will also love. There's loads of things like this. You can get things like badges on Etsy. So just literally Google their favorite book at the moment, put it in there, put it in Etsy, and you'll get a ton of things that come up. So you'll get badges, like little kind of enamel badges that are themed. You'll get candles that'll come up that are like scented, either to be like a character or maybe a scene in the book. You can get figurines depending on what it is. If it's more fantasy, I suppose, or like anime or manga that they're into, there will be figurines, pop figures, that kind of thing. Stickers is another great one. If you go on Redbubble, another great place to go. Type in the kind of franchise name of the whatever it is, whether that be, I don't know, Lord of the Rings would be super easy to get anyone any gifts themed with that, obviously, because it's huge. Same with Game of Thrones. But even like some slightly smaller things like Empire of the Vampire. I mean, you'll even get kind of like childhood classics like Alice in Wonderland. There'll be so many things themed like that on these sites where you can get t-shirts and posters even of like fan art on Redbubble. So that is two great websites to start, is Etsy and Redbubble, just to get kind of thematic, not necessarily books, but things that are related to books. Next, we have things, if you know that that person loves a particular book, you can get them a special edition of that book. This works really well for childhood classics because there tend to be tons of things to choose from. So like Alice in Wonderland, as I mentioned earlier, there are so many editions of Alice in Wonderland. There's even a special Christmas edition. It's gorgeous, it's tiny, it's about this big, it has gold edges and it's all red. It's beautiful. You have like the Helen Oxbury editions. There's so many, like we have pretty much in the shop an entire shelf dedicated just to special editions of Alice in Wonderland. But you've also got things like the Velveteen Rabbit, they'll throw things on, Little Women, Wind in the Willows, anything like that that you know that they loved as a child. Christmas is nostalgic anyway, as a season, as a period, you know, it's something that happens every year and it's probably something that they've celebrated since they were a child when these things were their favourite books. So giving someone this gift of a really beautiful edition that they probably wouldn't spend that money on anyway in normal circumstances, it's a nice thing to do, especially, and they will just love it. It will bring that kind of nostalgic warmth into the gift without really putting much thought or effort into it. Then this is more kind of for people that you know that like fantasy. Fantasy people love a special edition. Like, they are on it with the special editions. They will collect 5 or 6 copies of a single book just because it has a different cover, a different sprayed edge, maybe an extract in it, anything like that. So a couple of places you can go to find these special editions is, if it's pretty recent, Waterstones tend to do quite a lot of exclusive editions that have special sprayed edges and exclusive chapters, that kind of thing. You can also go onto the Broken Binding, which is a fantasy specific one where they bring out a lot of kind of older books in hardbacks. So if you know someone's got like half a collection in hardbacks, half a collection in paperbacks, and that really annoys them, great time to kind of give them some hardbacks to fill up their collection or to complete it. They also do special editions of certain books. The Folio Society also do quite expensive, I have to say. It's more on the higher end special editions, But again, they do many different types of ones, so that's not just fantasy included. So they've got fiction, non-fiction, children's, limited editions on their website. Some of their fiction ones that they've got at the moment, they've got Jaws there. So that's great for someone that, you know, maybe likes the film. Having a beautiful edition of a book, they don't necessarily even have to read it, but it is stunning. And people will just like that. The Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy, he's got two new books coming out. So he's very present at the moment. So maybe they'll like a special edition of his kind of more popular book. They've got Marvel themed books on here. They've got beautiful editions of Game of Thrones books. So if you know someone loves that and you've got a little bit of a higher budget, aka £160 to spend on this person, go for it. Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel. But yeah, this literally goes on. Never Ending Story, another childhood classic that someone might love. Neil Gaiman, Frankenstein, Norwegian Wood, all these like kind of classic books. They have special, beautiful editions of them on their website. So it's a great place to go to get that kind of present for them. Another kind of good option is that if someone collects these or wanting to collect them, it is the Penguin cloth-bound editions. So for example, I've got the Wuthering Heights here. I think I have 4 of these books. I'm not even a classics reader, but I like collecting these books because they look nice on a shelf, and there is something just very satisfying about these books. Honestly, if you go into a bookshop and they have them all together in a wall, it's stunning. You'll understand as soon as you see that why people want to collect these. These are beautiful editions, and if you know that they have a single classic that they love or are interested or want to read, giving them a special edition of it that's stunning, that's a little bit more expensive than you would want to spend on a classic. I mean, you can get £5.99 Penguin editions. These ones range from £14, I would say, to £20, depending on which book it is and how big it is. So they are a little bit more expensive, a little bit more luxurious, and just make perfect gifts. I've also got, if you really don't know which one to get, The Christmas Carol. Obviously it's Christmas themed, so you kind of don't really need to know what classics they like. It kind of goes with the season and the theme. For example, of recent Waterstones editions that are present at the moment, I basically just want to show this on screen again because I absolutely love it. But we've got Empire the Vampire by J. Christoph. This is a £50 book, but it is filled with stunning illustrations that are fully coloured within them. So it is a beautiful book and completely worth that money, I would say. It's in very nice kind of bound book. It is hefty, I have to say, but it is entirely worth it. So if someone's a fantasy reader, specifically they like kind of more of the darker adult fantasy, I would definitely give them Empire the Vampire anyway, but this edition just adds an extra bonus to it. And also fairy tales. So that's another kind of along the same lines as classics. Giving someone a collection of fairy tales is always, in my eyes, a good idea. There's so many editions of fairy tales that it would be so easy to find whoever you're buying for favourite fairy tale, either if it's from their childhood, you got like Cinderella, Snow White, that kind of thing, even from Disney, and get them like a nice edition of it. This is a bound up collection of a lot of the Grimm's tales, but it is fully illustrated and it is just absolutely stunning. To be fair, the easiest way to buy a book for someone is literally just to go into a bookshop around Christmas. Around Christmas time, bookshops specifically have probably moved their entire store around so that the best editions, the most beautiful gifts are in prime sight for you to buy. This kind of moves me on to what you can get for someone that you don't necessarily know much about what they read. You just want to buy a book for someone because books are just good gifts. They can feel quite generic if you don't know what you're looking for. But if you just go into a bookshop and go to wherever you think they would like, so if you know they have a hobby, even if it's not reading, if it's cycling, hiking, travel, photography, crafts, anything like that, go into that section of that bookstore and just look at the books there. Because in like travel, for example, you have incredible editions by Lonely Planet, big like collections of the best hikes in Europe or road trips around Europe, or if you know they're going on holiday somewhere next year, get them something to do with the holiday. Or if they like photography, you know, you've got the photography of the year books for wildlife and landscapes, that kind of thing. They're just really nice books to collect and just have as possessions, and they're things that you wouldn't necessarily spend money on yourself, which I think is always the goal with a gift. You don't want to get something that they would necessarily pop out the next day and buy for themselves. You want to get them something special that they will cherish. As I said, for like people that have hobbies, that you know that they really enjoy things, there will be beautiful books to do with that. If it's cooking, get them a lovely cookbook. If it's fashion, you can get them a fashion book on their favourite designer, or if they like architecture or something like that. I mean, there's so many of these beautiful design books that are crafted incredibly well, that they just make good things to collect. And then obviously you've got your Christmas themed books. Vintage Classics have come out with 2 of these, Scandinavian Christmas one and a German Christmas one that came out this year. And they're just lovely little books that have a collections of stories in them that are just Christmas themed. So if you want to get, like, these are good for little kind of Secret Santa gifts. They're just small, compact, perfectly on theme. So you've got Hans Christian Andersen in here, you've got Around the Yule Log, you got Father Christmas, and other stories that they probably never heard of, because there's a lot in here that I've never heard of. And they're just lovely to have at this time of year and just to have on your shelf, because they're beautifully made and just make great gifts, basically. And as a final kind of worst comes to worst, if you really don't know what to get, you go into a bookshop and you're still overwhelmed by everything around you, which can happen at Christmas. It's very busy. There is a lot going on. There's so many things in a bookshop. Just get them a book voucher. Like, it sounds like a cop-out, but it's honestly, if this person truly loves books, that is probably the best gift that you can give them. No one who loves books would ever turn down a book token, because not only do you then give them the power to buy books, you give them the time and excuse to enter a bookshop, spend hours walking around and deciding what they want to buy, and then buying it without having to spend any of their own money. It's honestly, it is the best gift to give a book lover, Biblio person. Worst comes to worst, give them a book token. You can't go wrong with it, I promise you. So this was my gift guide for Christmas 2022 and any other Christmas that comes up in the future. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do like and subscribe if you'd like to see any more of my Christmas themed videos coming up every other day from now until Christmas Day, and I'll see you in the next video very soon.